Welcome to Newquay in Cornwall. Let's take you back to the Victorian times of 1800 and the 1900s, when Newquay in Cornwall and Cornwall itself was a very vibrant holiday resort, and as it is today. But let's go back to the times when people used to get around in the town, helping the holiday makers to enjoy themselves. And this is one of the early commercial hotels, which is in the town centre of Newquay. It looks as though to the end of the building there are stables which house the horses of the time. This building, which is being constructed, is of the Atlantic Hotel. If you look at the scaffolding, I'm not right sure about that of today's standards, but nevertheless it's still standing today. And this is the Headland Hotel, and also still stands today. And each of those two hotels bring a lot of business into the town each summer times from all over the world. And this is another view of the commercial hotel back in them times. And as I said before, by the looks of the building there, looks as though that's where the stables might have been for the carriages. This view is of the lifeboat that used to be dragged through the town by a team of 4 horses. No mechanised machines then, and they were brought up from the Town Beach. And this is the lifeboat, which is in the lifeboat station on Little Fistral. The building's still there, but no longer in use now. The lifeboat station is actually on the dockside now, the harbour. And this view shows how the volunteers used to get around to the stricken ships, or anybody that needed the lifeboat in them times. And this particular shot shows the team of horses bringing the lifeboat out of the Atlantic onto Town Beach, and it would be dragged up a ramp toward the town centre. And this is one of the early version of coach and horses. People sat on the top there, might be having a bit of a day trip out to Truro perhaps. Not sure where they'd be going then. But this one, because of the amount of people on, and they would be actually holiday makers, and going off the amount of horses, possibly might have been having a trip down to St Ives, maybe a Land's End, maybe a complete day trip out. And this carriage obviously was meant for the gentry of the day. Might have been for the Lord Mayor or the town crier that used to take the people about. And this one is a very early version of the car of today. And that was an important one because of the chauffeur-driven one there. 2 policemen there and a man with a bowler hat. He could have been something to do with the town council, maybe. And these 2 vehicles, obviously full of holiday makers, maybe having a day out down at Land's End. That's your early version of the coaches of today. And this is a typical Cornish family, with all the children dressed in the traditional clothing of the day. And this is of Newquay railway station, but back then Newquay railway station was quite big, but then it had to be to bring the people in from London. Quite a lot of people used to use that back then. And here we have the early version of Fistral Beach, but a lot of people seem to think today that Fistral Beach has only been going recently, but according to this, that's been going for quite a few years, many years. Here we have someone who's voicing their opinion in the town. Not sure who he is, but whoever he is, he's got a few people around him listening to his conversation. Here we have a typical Cornish lady dressed in the clothing of the day. Very nice picture that. Looks as though she could have been down on Bank Street, maybe. And here we have a group of ladies on cycles, and as I mentioned earlier, those ladies are dressed in traditional clothing, and they all wore hats of the day. That was a typical thing. And here we have a group of choir boys going through the town, and the plaque on the right hand side there shows that one of the churches being constructed. This is the small train that used to come in from Par, which comes from Par to Newquay, the branch line, and the train would come in from London to Par, and then they would change trains and go on to the branch line one. And here we've got a little girl who's enjoying, well, I'm not sure what she's enjoying there. It could be a toffee apple, it could be ice cream, but that is a typical ice cream cart of the day that used to ride around the town. And sadly, here we have one of the stricken tall ships that Cornwall is noted for on the wrecks. Could have been round Newquay, possibly. And this looks as though it could have been the beginning of Newquay Harbour. Not sure whether it's fallen down or whether it's been rebuilt that. This view is showing the branch line viaduct, which is in Newquay, and just underneath it to the left of the picture is Newquay Zoo, and to the right is the Trenance Gardens. Well, now we've gone past now to the 1900s, and we've come right up to the present time, and this is showing Newquay as it is today. Nothing's really changed much in that respect as far as the people are concerned, the holiday makers. We possibly get just as many today as they did back in the 1800s, but nevertheless that's a good thing for the town. Just in the distance to the right of the picture, as you can see on the left hand side, is the Atlantic Hotel, and on the right, on the far right there, is the Headland Hotel looking out to sea. Here we have a supply ship which is actually underneath the Highland House there at the Atlantic Ocean, that is. Not sure where he's going, but occasionally we do get him coming in, bringing supplies in. Not quite sure, as I say, where they'd be going, but he was anchored out there the day that I was down here. There's a little inshore boat, possibly R&I inshore craft doing some practicing. There's another shot of the boat. It's nice to see things like that, because they are trying to make Newquay for the ships that bring people in from different parts. Hopefully they're going to do that. Whether they will do or not, we'll never know. I don't think so. And that's another shot of Newquay Harbour and the Headland and Atlantic Hotel. That view there is showing Porth Island and Watergate Bay, which is just outside Newquay. Nice little area that. These are just a couple of shots showing a bit of bird wildlife. There's quite a few around Newquay. And there's some more of the Victorian houses in the distance there. They're still used for renting or holiday makers. That's part of Porth Island in the distance there. This is just some of the foliage that's scattered around just outside the town. And this is looking down through Bank Street out onto the Atlantic Ocean there. Nice view, that one. And this building is what they call the Hewer's Hut, and that in the back then in the early days was used by fishermen to keep a watch out for pilchards that used to come in, as Newquay was noted for pilchard industry. A fisherman used to come in and stand there, and when he saw the shoal of fish coming in, he would get his loud hailer and shout to the fishermen in the harbour that the fish was arriving. Then they would get in the little boats and row out to the shoals of fish and put them in the nets and bring them into shore. And then some women would get some little barrels and put the pilchards in these barrels and put them on a train that used to come into the harbour via the town, and then they would be to wherever they were used to go to. And this one now is the central pub as it is today. That was the old commercial hotel as you saw earlier, with the horses outside, and that's how it is today. And this is showing Newquay Harbour as it is today. And that little wall that you can see in the middle of the picture of the harbour is where the train used to run on. If one of those walls could talk. And this is the town centre now of Newquay. We've still got the old buildings at the far end of the town there. You can see some of the Victorian style buildings, but that's how it is today. Well, we're coming to the end of the film now. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of old and new Newquay. Give you some idea of what Newquay and Cornwall was like back then in the 1800s. As I said, it's a far change as what it is today, but it's nice to see some of the buildings today.